Hey y'all, this is Coach in the Fight here. Um, so I've been putting up a few Hermes classes, and guess what I noticed? You guys don't watch Hermes classes. Well, I'll bend a little bit in this era. I wouldn't bend at all. If you guys didn't want to hear it, it was your problem. But the third era, the Third Testament says to be more, understanding, and so I'll try to do so. If you guys want to hear the Third Testament, we'll talk about the Third Testament. All right, so my wife was talking. Me and my wife was talking last night about something I can do, and it just so happened that I was listening to the chapter on parables, and she said, "Well, why don't you do one on parables?" So it was like, it was kind of answered and confirmed within milliseconds of each other. And then today, when I was got on here and said, "Well, I'm gonna do a class," well, the first thing that popped up, was the same one I was working on from last night was parables. So here we are. We're gonna look at the first parable. The parables in the Third Testament are found in chapter 65. Now, looks like there are five parables actually. This is a whole nother parable here. I don't know why my little daily mode didn't count it. But it's a whole nother parable on blessings here. Let's take a look. Oh, just brightened your screen up for you. But looking here in the Third Testament, and you guys know I'm getting this from a PDF I found online, but it's has these sections here. Let me blow it up. I don't know how to reverse the color on here, but we are getting used to it. It's one of the bugs we got to work out in our new blackout system. Uh, but let's go back. Let's go back to black. Back to black. Sorry about your eyes. All right, so here's the same one. All right, so let's go and look at the parable of the poor administrators.
Parables, Comfort, and Promise. The Third Testament, Revelations of Jesus Christ. Chapter 65. Parable of the Poor Administrators. Thus saith the Lord. A crowd of the hungry, sick, and naked approached the house in search of charity. The owners of the house constantly prepared food to serve the travelers at their table. The owner, lord and master of those lands, came to preside over the banquets. Time passed, and the needy always found their sustenance and shelter in that house. One day, the owner noticed that the water served at the table was cloudy, that the dishes served were not healthy and tasty, and that the tablecloths were stained. He called then for those in charge of preparing the table, and asked them, "Have you looked at these linens, tasted these dishes, and drunk this water?" "Yes, sir," they replied. "Before you give it to these hungry people, then have your children eat of it, and if they find these servings to be good, you may give them to the visitors." The children took the bread, the fruits, and whatever there was on the table, but the taste was not pleasant, and there was discontent and rebellion against the supervisors and harsh protests. The owner then said to those who were waiting, "Come, wait beneath this tree. I will offer you the fruits of my garden, and morsels that will please your taste." And to the supervisors he said, "Clean that which is stained. Get rid of the bitter taste you have left in the mouths of those who have deceived. Make amends to me for this, for I order you to receive all those who hunger and thirst, and offer them the finest dishes and clean water, and you have not complied. Your work is not pleasing me." The lord of those lands then prepared himself the banquet. The bread was satisfying, the fruit healthy and ripe, the water clean and refreshing. Then he invited those who waited, beggars, the sick and lepers, and all ate with great pleasure. Soon they were healthy and free of their ills, and decided to stay on that farm. They became laborers and began to work the lands, but they were weak and did not let themselves be guided by the advice of the owner. They mixed different seeds, and the crops degenerated. The wheat was choked by weeds. And when the time of the harvest came, the owner approached again and said, "What are you doing? To you I gave only the care of the house for receiving visitors. The planting you have done is not good. There are others who are in charge of the lands. Go and clean the fields of thorns, bushes and weeds. Then return to caring for the house. The spring has dried up. The bread is not wholesome, and the fruit is bitter. Do with the travelers as I have done with you. And when you have fed and healed those who come to you, when you have made the pain of your brothers disappear, I will bring you to rest in my mansion."
All right, y'all. Well, there you have it. The first parable of the Third Testament. What do you think? In fact, you know what? I'm gonna wait for you guys to think. This ain't an easy parable. You think you know, but I want you guys to help out with this one. In the comments, if you think you understand a part or you know you understand a part, leave it there for the rest of us people who are a little bit slower. You know what I mean? The rest of us, so we can catch up. I think I understand a few of this stuff, but I definitely don't understand it all, and I don't understand enough to even try to expound on it. So we're gonna just leave it at that. We're gonna make it an open discussion. Everybody, let's get in the comments. So we'll have part two. We'll come back later on, and part two where we'll look at the answers, and we'll have an open discussion on it. Based on the comments that people leave. So leave a comment. My comment is wow. Hermes Academy. Power of patience, continence, and faith. We teach virtue.